Welcome to Guelph Fight Wrestle. I'm Andrew Sennedra, and this is Captain Witchfingers, the Dark Ranger. And we're talking about our top 10 singles wrestlers of 2023. Yes, we're a bit late to the party, but that was his idea, and he doesn't really give a shit. Exactly. So we got our top 10 plus some honorable mentions here. I don't know who wants to go first. I guess I will, because he usually points at me to go first. So he's pointing at me now. But I got... I'm working my way up from 10 to number 1. His is kind of just whatever. So my number 10 is Eddie Kingston. I thought he had a really good year. A lot of really good. What the hell is he doing? He had a lot of good rivalries. Cut a lot of good promos. I had a really a good New Japan's G1 Climax, which kind of showcased a bit of different wrestling that he had to do. So I just thought he had a really long, in-depth year. And then obviously winning the Continental Classic at the end and having some really good matches there, I think really did a lot for him. I thought, that's easily gets him into my top 10.
So my first one is Swerve Strickland.
Oh,
so he's got a cool, murderous rapper aura. Where he'll break into your house and shoot babies kind of thing left and right.
Fuck your baby! Jesus Christ!
He had some good rivalries with Cowboy, and had a good run of the tournament. Though he came a bit short. But what really break through is that Prince Nana dance. Where he's fighting and then you see Nana's he's dancing in the background.
What the hell is this moron doing back there?
He's got famous all over social media, but he's number one.
What was your number 1 or your number
first
one?
First pick.
Oh, okay. I have my next one down is Jay White. I thought he had. He didn't really do too much. He was in the beginning of the year, but I think he had a really strong ending. The rivalry and the title run, or a title attempt run at MJF there. And then into the Continental Classic. I thought he did some really good matches in there as well. So that's kind of why he was able to move up the rungs of the ladder for me into the top 10. I thought he was really ended the year strong with the Continental Classic, in my opinion.
So my next one is Vikingo. This dude, if you've never seen him, he's like a video game character. He does things you never see before. I used to see those video games where you do that dragon runoff where you do a flip and then you catch
land,
him
and then you do a hurricane.
Yeah, you do a hurricane rana. Yeah. I've never seen that in real life. And then I see Vikingo do it. I was like, what the frick? This shit's actually possible to
Doesn't
do in
he
real
do
life.
the implosion version though? He stands and goes this way.
Yeah. It was I'll one up that, and I'll go the other way.
He comes. Yeah. I was like, holy crap, yeah.
So this guy's insanely fast. He does things I've never seen before. It's no wonder this guy's the AAA champ for 300 some odd days kind of thing. This guy's insane.
I think he's almost on 2 years now or something like that.
Can't be beaten.
And then we're moving on to my number 8. Oh yeah. This one, I've been bragging about this guy all year. The only reason why he slipped down on my list is because he ended up in a whole bunch of trios and tag matches, and was so that's the only reason why he slipped down, because there wasn't too much single stuff. It was mostly at the beginning of the year and in the G1. So I thought Yota Tsuji is my number 8, the pirate. Well, at least I call him a pirate. Reminds me of one Piece character, but I just thought he had a fucking absolutely great debut against Sennedra in that match. Absolutely awesome. I love his mixture of power, speed, agility, aerial ability. He's got a lot of freaking tools in there. His persona is just, he carries an aura. I just like the jacket, that grin. He's always got that crocodile grin on his, kind of like this. He's got his teeth showing. He's got that grin. I thought he had probably one of the best matches of the year, in my opinion, versus Will Ospreay. But like I said, he just fell just because a lot of other people had more singles stuff. So his stuff was really only a sample size here and there. But I'm waiting. I can't wait for 2024 for him.
Okay, so my next one, also forgot to mention that mine's not in any particular order kind of thing. So my next one is Darby Allin. So after watching that Christian match against Darby Allin, I realized this guy is so good. Because no offense to Christian, but I just don't like his slow, old school style, right? It bores me.
Yeah, the WWE style.
Yeah, right? But throughout the match, he made it interesting because, Darby took a beating, right? Like, got his ass kicked, right?
Yeah.
Like, every time, this guy never disappoints. He always have an interesting match. So it made me to reevaluate. I'm like, this guy is good. Like, he's really young, but he's like good. Like, and he's got unique set of attacks. Like, and he's like fast like a tornado. Like, he does like that super. Usually, when you see like those suicidas, like it's like average speed, right? He's like a missile, you know.
Well, the guy lands on his head like Kingston.
Yeah, he'll go flying, and then he's got unique attacks where, like, like his finisher, like he lands on his back, like you don't quite. I don't think I've ever seen that. Have you? Like,
I'm gonna land on my back. Yeah, and he has like the coffin springboard where he like launches off the ropes as another attack with his back. His head strike where he dives into the person's stomach. Yeah, he definitely got a lot of uniqueness.
And his promos, like, you never know what's gonna say. He's like an enigma, so he's always interesting. I like this guy.
Yeah, there's a lot to go off of there for sure. My next one is Jeff Cobb.
Oh.
Jaffu Cabo, however they say it in Japan. I have him up there. Again, he kind of slipped down because he was tagging a lot in trios and stuff. He was tagging with Hanare and Great Okan and things like that. But he still had a very solid singles year as well. I think what really got him, I think he would have been higher if he had some bit more, but he's on there because that Zack Sabre Jr. rivalry they had early in the year was really, really solid, and just overall another solid year. But again, these guys in Japan, sometimes they get stuck into doing tags and trios stuff, not as much singles things. So that's kind of why Jeff Cobb slipped. He might have been higher, but unfortunately, that's the breaks.
So my next one is Kenny Omega.
Oh yeah, you're not in particular order. I was like, he's so low. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, you're not in an order.
So like this guy had an amazing rivalry with Will Ospreay. Like, I think match of the year. Like that was an amazing match. It comes back.
A couple of them though.
Yeah, two times. Come back, had an awesome rivalry with Takeshita. I'm like,
yeah,
this guy's phenomenal, and if you haven't heard, I wish him a quick recovery from his diverticulitis.
You wish, and nobody cares what you wish. My next guy is Darby Allin. He might think that's kind of low because he was really talking him up, but it was kind of a tough year. There was some really heavy duty guys in there, but I think Darby, I still have him on a pretty good spot. Like again, he might have slipped because he did. Not do some singing, like there was a bit of a break there, but like you said, in the Christian Cage match, he kind of helped elevate Christian by, taking a worse beating than maybe he should have or something, but like another very solid year. He's showcasing so many different things in his arsenal. He's always adding more, like he's just submissions, striking, grappling, aerial, like he's just got a total package, and people might be like, well, you can't cut promos like MJF, and I'm like, yeah, and MJF can only throw punches and kicks and things occasionally, but at least Darby has pretty much always put on exciting matches, whether it's versus Christian Cage, Brian Cage, Hangman Page, Ethan Page, everybody who's got an age in their name, he's absolutely done a great job. Even like against Butcher, he had some stuff against Butcher and Brody King. Like, yeah, I can just reel off. I can remember so many matches that he's had, and that's usually tricky because you see a lot, but a lot of what he does stands out, and that's why I have him, where I do on my list.
So the next one I have is Speedball Mike Bailey. So this guy is very unique. He blends in his karate with with wrestling, and like his finisher is wicked. Like shooting star knee presses. I'm like, what the? Poor Ospreay, or whoever's taking it. He's like, getting their back smashed in with knees, and then he's got his cool karate kicks that he does, and like a lot of unique and creative offenses that I don't quite see all the time from other people, kind of thing, because he's got that flexibility of the karate. So.
Well, and it's purely unique to him. I don't see anybody doing certain things that he does. Even people who do similarly strike to him, they still don't do it the same way.
Yeah. So he's got he's quite the uniqueness. So that's what I like him.
My next one up at number 5 is Commander. I put him up there because he had so many exciting matches throughout the year. He had a crazy good pair of matches against Vikingo, which was absolutely spectacular. We're seeing a brand new sort of luchador move set from him, with running the ropes and the shooting star press. as he walks out in the 450s, like just a lot of the things he does, he's been innovating, and that's got to be really hard in the lucha world, just because these guys are always testing out new things, and he's shining with some new weapons, some new moves in his arsenal. I thought was really impressive what he did this year.
So my next one is Ricky Starks.
Starks, oh wow.
So he's into a bit more tag teams now, but like at the beginning he had like a singles run kind of thing. I think this was supposed to be his year. Like he was supposed to like main event with Punk, but we all know how that kind of fell through, and Punk kind of screwed him over, so he lost his main event push and run.
Yeah.
But I found him. He's just very interesting to watch and entertaining. Like he also had a good rivalry with a Bullet Club Gold kind of thing, where he's like fighting all those members kind of thing. So I wish I could have seen more, but then it's whatever.
Yeah, he kind of got
he got a shaft.
Yeah, kind of got screwed over and then slid into the tag team with Big Bill.
Yeah, so he's like
could have had a bigger year. Yeah, for sure. My number 4 is, he's already mentioned him, Vikingo, El Hijo del Vikingo. He absolutely had a killer year. He flew up my list because he just had 2 really great matches towards the end of the year here in December against Black Taurus, which was just fucking awesome. He showed his strength in that, lifting Black Taurus up. Like you said, his innovation on like 630s and implosion, Dragon Ranas, all kinds of different things. What was that? There was like a 730 or something that he did when he like jumped and spun off the ropes all the way down onto Black Taurus, who was on the floor. I was just like, holy crap, like this he's just like Commander. He is elevating the lucha world, which we kind of didn't necessarily think could happen. You had Ray, and then we saw in Lucha Underground, you had Mundo and Prince Puma and Aerostar and Drago, and a lot of guys really elevating, and Phoenix, right? And they were kind of like, where can you go from here? And then you got Commander and Vikingo, and you're like, holy crap, we can still go up from here. So that's where I have him. He really, shot up my list with the last bit there against Black Taurus. I was really impressed.
Yeah, so jumping off that, my next one's Commander. So, as mentioned, like I think this guy's like another video game character. So you see him do stuff that you don't think is possible. Like this is like only something you can do in a video game kind of thing, where he's scaled the ropes like nothing. Like like the first time I saw it, where like the guys are outside, he's on the opposite side of the ropes. I'm like, what is he doing? He gets up, books it all the way across, bounces, and then for springboard. I'm like, what? How is this possible? Like usually you have that little margin for error. You could bail, embarrass yourself, hurt yourself. But these guys are like high flying, they're risk takers, and like you said, people sometimes they think, oh, wrestling we just dealing with like body slams and leg shots. These guys like, fuck that, I'm gonna reinvent. I'm gonna do things nobody has ever seen, and I'm gonna go out there and go crazy kind of thing. The only thing I say is work on his personality, but his in-ring work is like amazing.
Well, why does he need a personality? Phoenix doesn't have a personality, but yeah, I definitely agree. Commander has some impressive.
He doesn't want people like you calling him a knob,
A knob? Well, like Danielson? Calling him a knob. My next guy is number 3 on my list, Zack Sabre Jr. Oh man, this guy, all over the place. He went and defended his the New Japan TV title over in ROH. Had some really good matches, some really good technical stuff there. Absolutely great year in New Japan as well. That rivalry with Jeff Cobb was really solid. What he did there, it was just, man, and I was sitting there, I've seen so many matches of his, and I'm sitting there watching him versus like Ospreay. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm sitting there seeing him pull out new moves, new stuff. Yeah, like, I swear this guy's like, he is literally the man of 1,000 holds, 1,000 grapples, whatever it is. He's always pulling out something new. It's just, his ability is uncanny. His transitions is absolutely out of this world. And I think, in my opinion, what, really shot him up this year was him versus Ospreay, back in, I don't remember where it was. I think it was called Royal Quest in Britain. But he had probably maybe a top 25 match I've ever seen was between Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. So that's why he shot up my list. He's just incredible. He's like the wizard of everything.
So my next one is Eddie Kingston. So I'm gonna borrow a phrase from somebody else. The realest guy in the room is Eddie Kingston kind of thing. He'll just tell you how it is. He'll keep it real with you kind of thing, right?
Keep it real, man.
and this guy is like he's a new belt collector. You know, he's running around. He's like got like all these belts. He's like don't know where to put the belts. He got so many belts, and I'm glad he won the tournament. I think it's well deserved kind of thing.
Yeah.
He also had a good rivalry with Claudio. And, yeah, Claudio, in the past kept kicking his ass, but finally he reversed it. He kicked Claudio's ass, and finally got the.
And he got him up for a power bomb. He's like, yeah, get this heavy guy up. And,
yeah, stole his finisher with that power bomb at the end.
Yeah. Now we're moving on to my number 2. He's already mentioned it as well in his chaotic list. Mine is Kenny Omega. Yeah, absolutely fucking killer year. He's number 2 only because my number 1 had probably the best year in wrestling. Anyways, I'll get to that. But Kenny Omega, yeah, number 2. One of the best weeks ever, in my opinion. What he did between facing Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom and then facing Moxley in the cage, where he got screwed over by Don Callis. I actually thought like that was like the freaking, one of the best matches, or one of the best weeks ever. Having those 2 caliber matches, long, grueling matches in 1 week, I was like, holy fuck, no wonder he got diverticular. He's like, I'm exhausted as hell. One thing, you already mentioned the Takeshita rivalry. That was really solid. His long storytelling ability. Yeah. Having that with Ospreay throughout the year, having it with Don Callis and Takeshita throughout the year, I was just really invested in like 2 storylines going at once, rivalries like that, and the fact that MJF has only had 1 really good match, in my opinion, and it was because of Omega. I definitely, he brought it out. He brought that out of MJF. The things we saw him do were brand new in that match, and why did he did it against him? That's an individual who can take somebody and elevate them.
Yeah. So my next one is Orange Cassidy. This dude is a workhorse, man. I've never seen so many people defended his belt as often as this guy. Day in, day out. And I gotta say, this guy's tough as hell, because like this guy's a small dude, You see all these big guys like slamming him hard, He every match after that, he's got more and more band-aids all over. He's like more hurt, he's more banged up, but he's still day in, day out. He's defending that belt. He made that belt relevant, So like, and while his hands are in his pockets, like how scary is that, diving outside with your hands in your pockets?
Land on your head.
Yeah, you can do a header.
If he can dive outside with his hands in his pocket and not get hurt, how come Punk can like only dive like once and tear his pec or his bicep or whatever like that? Like that guy was so brittle compared to Orange Cassidy.
While doing a double axe head.
Yeah, I was and Orange Cassidy, I just like found out. I think he's almost like in AEW. It has like 200 matches or something like that in total.
That guy's insane.
Like, holy crap! Like, yeah, he's had a lot compared to these guys who hardly wrestle and still get hurt. It's definitely a testament to his durability.
For sure.
Yeah, it's quite impressive. Then we're moving on to my number 1. Oh, this is absolutely, Mr. Will Ospreay. I think that's no fucking question. Absolutely 2 amazing matches against Kenny Omega. Earlier in the year, he had a really good match against Lance Archer. Archer beat the hell out of him, and then he comes back roaring with some really good moments in that match. That was pretty early in the year there. He has wins over Omega, Okada, Jericho, Yota Tsuji. I think that was all inside of a month, all on big platforms, like big shows, like at Wembley and the G1 Climax. Like, this dude was just absolutely doing everything on the big stage, beating the big guys on the big stages and stuff like that. I just thought, and then I mentioned Zack Sabre Jr., and how his ability is technical. When Will Ospreay wrestled him, he pulled out all of his technical stuff. So you got to see another side. So you can just see like this guy's got checking off all these boxes: aerials, striking, innovation. He's got durability, stamina. Submission and grab. Like he's checking every fucking box. It's just awesome, and his personality has really grown. His entrance, his ring gear. It's just. He created the whole giant united empire, which has just been taken off, and he's even got brought up guys in his faction. He's bringing leveling guys up like Caleb Newman, the Prince of Pace.
Yeah, my next one's also of course Will Will Ospreay, bro.
Will fucking Ospreay.
This dude will never be boring. This guy is insane. He's literally got like a death ray of moves. Where he's like, it looks like he's like killing his guys. Like I see him like do like the Tiger Driver 98 or whatever.
Yeah, what was he calling that? The Storm Drivers.
Yeah, where he like just jumps him on his head. I'm just like, oh, is that guy alive? And then, he gets up, he does a hidden blade, and then gets up, it gives him the Stormbreaker. I'm like, that guy's like totally, like, he's like dead, he's like death rated, he like died, he can't even kick out as like a KO.
He's a corpse now, he's fucking done. It was kind of, we were mentioning yesterday about like how Kingston won with, his Hurricane, and how he beat Danielson with the Northern, and we're like, oh, Kingston wins with, these several different moves. I was like, what about Ospreay? He's got like 5, right? Like he beats you in so many different ways.
Yeah, he doesn't like to be boring. You see, Undertaker. He's like tombstone everybody. It's the win. But him, he'll finish you with 10 different ways. So you don't see that finish coming, kind of thing. Right? It's like, oh, he won with that kind of thing. Whereas like, it doesn't always do the Stormbreaker kind of thing. So I like it.
Hidden blade and just hidden blade from different angles. Sometimes he'll do it from the front or even like the turnbuckle and stuff like that. Yeah, he's definitely Mr. fucking innovative. And one thing I also wanted to mention was Shota Umino. Not a bad wrestler. He's been improving all year. Faces Will Ospreay in a 40-minute match. His best match, hands down. Dude can elevate people just like we were talking about Omega. He's just everything he's doing is absolutely uncanny. And in my opinion, since we got back into watching wrestling, since like Lucha Underground, and we've been watching all this stuff, I think he's had the best year, hands down, bar none, in my opinion. This year, 2023, I thought.
Okay, I also got some honorable mentions too. I got Christian Cage. So I'm usually not a fan of that old school stuff, but something intriguing about this guy. Like he's like running around. He's like anything you figure is taboo, he'll say the shit like that. Patriarchy.
He's scaring all the women, pissing them all off.
You have a father that's dead. Oh, he'll bring up your dead father. He'll dig it up. He'll spit on his father. He'll throw mud in it. Like this guy's like. I think it adds to his like maybe like shock value or something where you're like oh shit, you didn't think he'll go there, but he goes there, right?
Yeah, he's really turning it up a notch in the heel realm.
Yeah, so when you like watch his promos, like sometimes I feel like I'm like sucked in there. I'm just like he grabs my attention and then after a segment I was like oh what happened? Like I lost some time back there.
What about Tony Khan's gift to Sting when he gave him Ric Flair? He was insulting Ric Flair. He's like, oh, he gave him some jewelry and a black liver, and Ric Flair, in his classic frozen face is just like, what do you say about me? What's wrong with my liver?
Yeah, it's funny when he used the Bert and Ernie or whatever that movie is called, like reference that.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. Where Flair's like a dead body. He's a walking corpse.
Nice gift, Tony Khan. You gave him a fucking corpse. That was hilarious. I had a few honorable mentions and some guys that just, I feel like the end of the year, like you mentioned Christian Cage, Swerve, Andrade, Rush. I thought the end of the year, if those guys had a more full year, like whether it was because of like injuries or layoffs and things like that, I think all of those guys really could have shot up my list. They were all just kind of on the cusp. Brian Cage also, but they made him lose a lot. That's kind of
stuff. He's like a fodder now.
But I definitely thought Christian Cage, similar thing, very, very good heel, very captivating persona right now. But I had like Mike Speedball Bailey, similar years. I just thought like I didn't get to see as much as him. I think you might have still on a bit more because you watched some more Impact than I did. But I also have Konosuke Takeshita. I thought he really rose up with the rivalry with Omega and just his whole persona change. Pulling out the jacket, pulling out the attitude. Kind of reminded me of Yota Tsuji, because they both had a similar strut, jacket, attitude, and things like that. I thought, they'd make a cool tag team. Tsuji and fucking Konosuke, the big speed power guys. That would be pretty cool shit.
Yeah, I agree with your
cool shit.
I agree with your honorable mentions and. I have one more. I have Jay White. So the former New Japan champion. This guy's funny. He's an egomaniac. He's very charismatic. He had a good tournament run. But I think he should have beat MJF because like MJF had like one leg and like how do you lose to a guy with one leg? But
I told you he was cheating. MJF was cheating.
He cheated, but he still should have won. But you know that's why he fell off my list. He lost to a one-legged guy.
God damn it. Anyways, that's our long-winded lists. You know, pretty interesting stuff. We had guys, you know, very similarly, but kind of all scattered all over the place. Because he doesn't rank his, so we can't really compare where they would be. And I'd be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Osprey's number one. Well, he might have been number one to you too.
He's number one. He's the only guy who's number one, but it's too hard to rank.
You solidified him as number one. But yeah, those are our lists. Tell us what you think of our lists. If they're crazy, why aren't there any WWE people on them? Well, fuck, we don't even watch it. So
we got ex-WWE guys. Huh?
And list your list in the comment below on your singles wrestlers for 2023. And until next year, I guess we'll be talking about this next year, or until Wrestle Kingdom will be coming up for us. Yeah. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be a great show. I can't wait for that. It's going to be fantastic. Till next time, folks. How about some heavy listening? Heavy wrestling.